Morning. How are you?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
We're extremely happy to have you here as well too. We know you've been to Auckland before, but we're mighty glad you're back. Is that right, Tam? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I have one question to start with, if that's okay. Just first of all, it has been a year and 3 days since you and Marty travelled into the future.
Right.
Where are our hoverboards?
I don't know. We made one little Netflix back in LA. They do kind of spoofy things, and they made this supposed documentary of the invention of a real hoverboard, and I was sponsoring it, of course. And we went to a parking lot, and they had stunt people on wires riding the boards, doing incredible things on the boards, and a lot of people believed it. And so we shot another kind of disclaimer where I said I was very sorry about this, all of that. But if anything, it has stirred people to really get out there and try to invent one, a hoverboard. And anyway, since then, I've had various reactions. People come up to me, how could you do that? You know, why did you know? It's so disappointing and in good humor and laughing about it. So I'm sure there will be one someday. None of us will be here to ride it, but someday it will happen.
And now, you get asked a lot, of course, about Back to the Future, and you're very good at talking all about that. You must get asked the same questions a lot. So
sometimes,
yeah,
but sometimes a different answer comes out.
That's great. Well, your film,
but from a different angle.
Your film career, of course, has been wide and varied. You've done so many things right through from Taxi and Cuckoo's Nest and everything, all this amazing long thing. The fact that you're remembered for being Doc Brown in Back to the Future perhaps the most frequently, is that okay with you?
What?
Is that okay with you, being perhaps remembered most for Doc Brown?
Absolutely. There's a little part of me that wants to deflect some of that to some of my other work, you know, and also, I mean, the whole experience of Back to the Future is overwhelming. I mean, when we opened in 1985, I think it was, 85, we just hoped it'd be a good opening night, and that the film would be well received and have a good run. We didn't expect the run to go on for 35 years. But it's amazing. And so many people come up to me, including over the weekend here, to say that the film changed their lives in some way, or it influenced them to choose a particular career in science or astronomy, physics, engineering. So it's great to be part of something that's meant a lot in profound ways to so many people. I have no regrets and no complaints. But I tend to steer my career, I try to keep it open to do different things. And Back to the Future has helped that happen. So,
yeah, that's great. Sorry, just a question there. You guys okay in hearing at the back? Is it too quiet, or are you all right? Because it might be the mics, everything's all right? Yep. Up a little bit there as well. Oh, I know what as well. So if the microphone, if we tilt it slightly there and talk into it like that.
a little better.
Oh, there we go. Is that much better? That was my bad. Sorry, that's me and my mic skills going on there.
I'm amazed.
The reason I asked that is because the character of Doc Brown is so animated and so explosive and so full of life and so pivotal to the film's role. and yet there's so much subtlety going on in there as well too. Were you given free license to make him as he was? How did you get that subtlety as well as the energy?
We didn't have much freedom as far as the writing went. I mean, occasionally a little change might happen spontaneously. If it worked, they'd take it. But the writing is so great. Bob Gale, the writer, put together such a complex story from 1 to 2 to 3. And made it all tie in. It's amazing. And the writing for each episode didn't disappoint expectations. You know, when you see the first one and it's great, and oh, they're doing a second one, then you go see the second one, and it somehow falls short. It doesn't live up to the original. But he wrote 3, and they all lived up to each other. It's extraordinary accomplishment. Where were we?
Oh, that's all right. No, I asked a random roundabout question about the energy that, like your stage acting and things. Did that give you the ability to be subtle as well as explosive?
I don't know. I do know that. I mean, I try to understand what each character I get to do, where he lives. You know, what's his most important motivation in life to do whatever he does. And I felt that Doc Brown just can't sit still. He's constantly thinking up something new and thinking of this possibility or that possibility, and he just can't stop. And then when he does these things, he creates crises. The whole space-time continuum. You know. And he's not only very active mentally and physically in doing all this stuff, it's got him into a situation where the least mistake in his calculations could result in the end of life as we know it, totally. So, given that, it kind of propelled me to get on it.
Quite a burden to carry, yeah. In terms of acting on the set, I'm going to throw it to the crowd soon because I know you have many questions here. But in terms of acting, I've got a personal question, a question that I'm curious about. When Eric Stoltz and you worked together first, before you and Michael began to work together, was there a chemistry there between you and Eric that carried through to when Michael arrived? Did you like that time as a kind of a practice time, or?
I mean, I decided what I wanted to bring in, because that was like the first 6 weeks. I knew where I wanted to go with Doc Brown, and the director, Bob Zemeckis, was very supportive. I didn't, you see, Eric Stoltz is a very fine actor. And he acted everything well, and I felt entirely comfortable with him. When the night came, when the announcement was made that they were going to switch to Michael J. Fox, I was stunned. I didn't see that coming. And my first worry, of course, was, will I be able to repeat what I've done for 6 weeks? I thought I barely crossed the line as it was. So, but what they wanted, they needed to have somebody with a more comic flair, a more comic timing, a sense of comedy, which Michael J. Fox, is full of. He was originally asked to play the part, but he was in a series called Family Ties, and he couldn't leave
at the same time. Yes,
at the same time. But pressure was applied, and he came on to do it, and at the same time was finishing with Family Ties. So those first few weeks for him were quite intense. But between Michael and I, it was a different kind of chemistry. It didn't really change anything I did, but it did. There was like spontaneity and energy from Michael that was kind of infectious, and it brought out more of the humor in the scene. So And that's always been there. We had a break of 2 years between Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2. And the day we walked on the set, Doc and Marty again. You know, so it was good casting.
Good. Yes. And I've got another question as well too. Just remember to keep these mics up as well too. Just getting a nod from the back. End on. We're going to do that. A question as well too. When Marty arrived, when Michael started playing Marty, he was wearing the puffer jacket. But in the puffer jacket.
Oh, that red thing?
Yeah, the red thing he had on. Yeah. When Eric was doing it, there was no puffer jacket. And yet in the film there are references to it, like you're wearing a life preserver and all that kind of thing there.
That's right. Yeah.
So what's the story there? Which came first?
I have never thought of that story. I didn't pay attention. I don't know. Unless they felt that the red was a lighter color, a more fun color or something, maybe than what Eric was wearing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. No, I just had to check, that's all. These things are important to check out. And lastly, just before I throw it into the crowd as well too, you say you like Back to the Future 3 the most because you got to be a cowboy, is that right?
Yeah. That's just, I guess every American boy's dream. Be a cowboy, ride horses. You should do all that stuff. And so it has that appeal to it, being in a Western. I love working, you know, I did some horseback riding and working on that big monstrous steam engine. I mean, you don't see those today in action anymore. They're amazing. I mean, they're huge. All that steel and steam and all those gears going this way and that way, and shoveling coal into it. You know, that was kind of a kick to be sort of holding on to the side of it while it was moving along. And, you know.
So you have an actual love of steam engines as well. You love steam engines. You have a genuine love of steam engines. So that's great. Yeah.
Particularly after the.
Sorry, the microphone.
No, that's right. Oh yes. Wow.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, it just.
You seem content, like in the film. You say you like it because you got to be a cowboy. My last question, again, before I throw open, is the Doc settles down. He calms down in the third part.
Right.
So he's full of energy in the first two, and then he calms down. And what I was wondering was that contentment that the Doc shows in the third one. Does that come from a real place because you're being a cowboy?
Yeah, and also I think it's because he's fallen in love. Yeah. And he's rescuing that train and doing all that stuff because of what's happened between him and Clara. So I think he's clicked into, he can't just be a wild man anymore. He's got to sort of focus. I'm speculating, but I felt that way.
All right, well, I'm not going to waste any more time. There are loads of questions here. We'll throw it to the crowd. Yeah, Angie?
Hey, I was just wondering, you've recently been in a movie called I Am Not a Serial Killer.
That's right.
What was that experience like, given it was rather gory?
Did you see it?
Yes. Mr. Crowley.
She barely speak. No, I'm going to refrain from giving too much detail because I think part of the enjoyment of the film is not knowing how it works out. I love the character. It certainly wasn't any kind of character I'd had before.
Yeah, that's rather different.
Yeah, but it was a good cast. It was a great Irish group who put it together and wrote it and directed it and everything. I just like I like it. I hope it has a bit of a run somehow because I think it was well written.
That was awesome.
All right. Did everybody hear that? All right.
Go and see it, people.
We have another question over here for you.
All right.
Hi then. I was going to ask a Back to the Future question, but I'm now going to ask about Star Trek, Star Trek: The Search for Spock. What's one of your fondest moments in The Search for Spock? It's part of the film that you were doing. What sticks in your mind the most? And do you remember any of your Klingon lines?
When I was, they gave me a dictionary that had been published of Klingonese. Nouns, verbs, adverbs, syntax. The language had been, by that time, they'd made up a real language for Klingonese, and you refer to that if you want a pronunciation or spelling or something or whatever. I love doing that too. Another great villainous guy who, out of political expediency, blows up his girlfriend. It's subtle, but it's there. Not on screen. She's in another spaceship. And he tells her about it before he does it over the intercom. And then so he doesn't have much moral concerns. Whatever is expedient, that's what he does. And I love the makeup and the whole aspect of him. I think at the end of the fight I have with William Shatner, and people were I talk, friends say, I got this fight scene and they would say, oh boy, good luck with that. So I was kind of intimidated when it came to be, but it went well, everything worked, and it was great, and I still died.
You have another question over here?
Thanks. First for the entertainment and enjoyment your work's given over the years. You're an amazing actor, and it's good to get a chance. And I'm sorry, it's a partial Back to the Future question. It may be just my memory, but did Jim from Taxi partially influence Doc Brown?
Not willfully, not intentionally, but we are both by the same actors, so it's hard. But I'm very aware of that. If I during a take, whatever, and I hear another character coming through, but sometimes it does have. I want to do it again because I don't want that to be a part of the performance. But yeah. Thank you.
Another question over here.
You recently did a cameo in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
That's right.
I was wondering, are you a Seth MacFarlane fan, Family Guy, or
Am I what?
are you a big fan of Seth MacFarlane and the Family Guy style of comedy in that?
I'm a big fan of his cartoons. Family Guy. I love Family Guy.
I can imagine he was a bit of a riot to work with on set.
So I was glad to work with him. The film didn't come out that well, apparently, but I loved doing it. It was a perfect. It's in a Western, situation, and that it just fit good, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Excellent. We have
Right.
another question over here.
Hello, I just rewrote the question 3 times over on my phone. But the TV series of the Addams Family was quite a different style to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do love both of them. But would you have liked to have used any of Jackie Coogan's one-liners more in the movie?
What I would like to.
Jackie Coogan's role in the Addams Family is Uncle Fester. Would you have preferred to have used any more of his one-liners in the movie adaptation?
I don't know. The way he played it in the series,
Yes, he was Uncle Fester.
I have to confess, I didn't pay much attention to the series. My mind was on other things. So I don't know exactly what he said or what his choice lines were.
Well, a very common one that he would always do was pick up a shotgun and threaten to shoot someone in the back.
That's what he would say he would do? Love to shoot somebody in the back. When I was a kid, my family subscribed to a magazine that always had cartoons in it, and Charles Addams was a contributor. And every once in a while there'd be a cartoon specifically about the Addams family. And I used to love to thumb through that, find and hope the next one was going to be about Uncle Fester. I really liked Uncle Fester as a kid. The whole thing about him. And then decades, literally later, I got a call to be Uncle Fester in a film, and I mean, what are the odds? You know, it was like crazy. So I loved it. I loved doing it.
We have another question.
Hi. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I cannot imagine any other actor being able to be Judge Doom, and it's such an involved role. Did you have any influence on what Doom got to do? You know, the animation that they gave him, and
not really. I just saw the costume sketches and his look and all that, and he's sort of like a classic cartoon villain. There used to be a cartoon, I don't know how many, of these two crows, right?
Heckle and Jekyll?
Huh?
Heckle and Jekyll?
Could be. I mean, they're always up there trying to outsmart each other. Their plots always get foiled. And that's what Judge Doom reminded me of. The black hat, the black cloak, and the way they, you know. So it was a lot of fun. Even though a lot of people come up to me and said, when I was a child and I saw that, I had nightmares. Nightmares. But I remember when I went to Walt Disney films, the first animated films like Bambi and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and others, I went home and had nightmares. So I kind of feel it's just a little bit of payback. Yeah.
Happy birthday for yesterday.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And it's awesome that you're here. I loved you in Taxi. You were just so awesome. And I was re-watching a clip this morning before you did the drugs, where you were like a prim and proper. Do you prefer comedy, or do you prefer to do more serious drama or horror?
I kind of prefer to do both. The process is the same, creating a character and finding elements about that person, people to relate to. Even if it's somebody you never would want to have dinner with, that you understand the humanity in some sense, you know. So, Reverend Jim, he was such, in my feeling, a kind of a product of the 60s. So with all kinds of liberation and the you know, pervasive drugs and all of that. And he's kind of a joke. he's lost his mind and he's just floating around. And yet he has a big heart and a kind of strange sense of humor. I love doing that.
Mine's about Cluedo, the movie. Also, I just looked up your...
Which movie?
Cluedo. Clue.
Oh, Clue.
I just looked up your IMDb profile. You've got like over 200 things on there. That's super impressive. Well done. I saw that with some friends, and there's the 3 different endings to it. Did they ever tell you guys, okay, we're filming 3 endings to trick people, or is it that they tried it out and they couldn't decide which one they liked best?
Well, we knew we were doing that. I mean, that was clear. I don't know really the politics of what they chose, which ones they picked.
Which one do you like best?
You know, I can't tell you because I don't remember which one. I told her that would seem to be important, but I don't recall. I used the pistol ones, right? Good choice. Yeah, I know. But thank you.
It's 1 out of 200 things, so I wouldn't expect you to.
We have a question over here.
First of all, again, Christopher, what an honour it is to be here with you and to have met you. Look, I was one of those parents whose son was of the age where movies became a way to distract him from his ADHD, and look, in particular, we still go back to the Future series and re-watch them, and I guess the good thing about a movie with longevity like the series has is that you always see something that you missed the last time. You know, the chemistry on stage was just so incredible, and the way that Bob Gale and Mr. Zemeckis intertwined that whole series of 3 to intercross and interweave like that was just really incredible. But you know, you've been in this business now for so long, and I just want to say that your longevity in this business is a testimony to how great an actor you've been over the decades. So thank you very much.
Hi, Chris, over here. Just Christopher. You were easily on the stage. You're easily able to slip into the Great Scott, Doc Brown voice. Does Jim come as easy still?
Does Jim what?
Come as easy to you? Do you
not quite. One part, because I've heard it so many times that people in the theaters, wow.
Do you
you know, yellow, I mean, but I don't know, I can't quite get into it right away. I had a brother, he was 22 years older than I. In fact, our birthdays were on the same day. He's passed away. But what I was doing, Reverend Jim, sometimes we'd come back from a hiatus and I would have the same problem. I couldn't quite get there. And then one time, my brother came into mind. And he was a total, he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he was a real straight arrow. Never would have tolerated a Jim Vitowski. But my brother would set his face in a certain way. And better would be there. You're tricky.
We have a question down here. This gentleman here.
You remember I gave you your birthday card?
Yes.
How did you do on the scratches?
How do I what?
How did you do on the scratches?
I haven't done it yet.
Make sure you do them before you leave.
All right.
The other thing, have you, for any of the projects you've done, have you kept any of your props? Have you been given any props?
The only thing I have is a shirt that I wear in the third, and that hangs in the closet, and my fiance is less than pleased to see me wear it, so it sort of remains there. But I have it, and I treasure it. But I don't have an accumulation of props. The DeLorean would be an obvious one, but I don't have it.
There's one going treat downstairs, I heard.
Yeah.
Have questions anyway? Yes, there's one over here.
Kia ora. Hey, there are a few actors. I've got my sister there acting, another boy who would want to hear this question. Getting into the role of a character, as an actor, you have archetypes and you have all these different, things that you have to use to conjure up you know, a certain character. How long is that process in order to take you to get fully into a character? Is it just before you do your first take and you run, or do you kind of have the character down pack from?
I read the script, and sometimes the ideas will come real fast about what he's about, what his feelings are about the situations he's in, and sometimes it's pretty obscure. You know, I can't. I'll just keep going through it, and kind of maybe one moment I say, I think I know what that's about, and then over here I'll have another moment, and I kind of eventually try to pull all the dots together and form whatever kind of person he is. I am never confident that I've made the right choice. Normally before the first day of shooting, I'm up pretty much all night involuntarily just thinking about it. Because there's always a chance I come in with what I prepared and the director says action and I do it. And then he comes over to me and he's, Chris, it's not what we were looking for, you know, or something of that notion, you know, because then I know I got a situation I have to work out. But so far so good, you know. I really tried it, and I talked to the director before the first day of shooting. So I've tried all costumes. Costumes mean a lot. They give you the feeling of the makeup or whatever you do. So I've come in pretty ready to beat this guy, so it better work.
Because they say that lines they say that the lines on a page like mean nothing. You know, when you're acting, you read them and it's blank canvas. So you put, like, you transcend your body into that character, and then it's like a real self. It's like you're actually making a true person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lines are pretty important because they're what he says, and so I really dig deep, see what he's saying, whether he literally means what he says, what makes him say it that way, and etc. So that so the guy's real as much.
Me again. What superhero would you play if you could play any hero in the world besides Pastor Jim?
I have just one really that I often think about. That's Don Quixote from the Cervantes novel, Don Quixote de la Mancha. Such an amazing person, romantic and fanciful and daring and quizzical. We'll see with that. Don't.
That's wonderful. There's a cowboy theme creeping in here that I'm sensing all of the time. A real fascination with cowboys.
Oh yeah.
We have another question over here.
Hi. What was the experience like having to play yourself in Man on the Moon?
Man on the Moon. What was that?
Late 90s?
The 90s. Man on. Oh. Yes. That was an amazing experience. I have to say that Jim Carrey there were moments you look at Jim Carrey and his eyes, and it was Andy Kaufman. I mean, he just was really into it. I thought he was great at it. But we were all together again, you know, the whole cast. Except Danny DeVito wasn't it. He was producing, but he wasn't actually in it. It was a great reunion, and they rebuilt the set at a different studio that had just the spots on the floor. Everything was precise. The same table in the middle. So we felt quite at home, and it was kind of a celebration. We all got into it really easy.
Excellent. Can I just sneak in a question here? I'm curious myself. you're, in terms of cinema, you're pretty much sci-fi royalty, really, in terms of your place in the cinematic history. When you were on the set of Back to the Future, because it's such a pivotal trilogy that means a lot to so many people, did you feel there was something special happening?
I felt it was special in the sense that it was, I knew it was a Spielberg production, Amblin, you know, Bob Zemeckis, and so I knew they weren't fooling around. They were going for broke, but they all do, you know. And as I say, there was that kind of excitement and intensity. You know, like you do an independent film that's as a, you know, a shoestring budget. When it's millions in the budget, everybody's a little more intense. So I knew that it was important, you know, but never imagining it just kept going the way it did. I never considered that. I don't think many others did either. It was like hoping it has a great opening and lives off that. That would be great. I remember in that vein, we all went up the cast while we were shooting Back to the Future 1 to San Francisco and spent a night, all night shoot, doing a musical video with
Huey Lewis and the News.
Huey Lewis and the News. And I didn't know too much about his music or his band, didn't matter. You know, we're all there doing this thing. And he, like the rest of us, he just worked well. And I remember he kind of, at one point, walked over to us, and just kind of looked at us, and he said, "Is this going to do anything?" His very words. And I think back to that moment, because that's, who knew, you know?
Look, in the vein to do with that song, just before I ask you my question, not a lot of people realise that Huey Lewis was one of the 3 or 4 of the teachers overseeing the audition. He was the one with the megaphone that said, "You're just too darn loud." Mm-hmm. That was Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
And look, your series had such a pivotal impact on us, and my son in particular, that he went back another 100 years and he's playing one of the Jack Sparrows over this weekend.
Really?
So he's gone back basically to 1775 as opposed to 1875. But look, at the beginning of the filming for Back to the Future, were you all told how the 3 storylines, did you know about the 3 movies for a start and how they were going to interconnect? Were you told about that at all, or did it just come up?
I don't think they had decided yet. I think they wanted to wait a while and see how the first one was going before they made a decision. I'm sure it was in their mind, hey, maybe, you know, do another 1 and 2 episode. But there was no official announcement of that until maybe towards the very end of shooting the first one, or maybe after, I'm not sure. But it wasn't, we signed on for 1, and it kept going.
Hi again. You have so much energy in a lot of your characters, especially the caricature characters. Even Uncle Fester, you know, standing still, looks like somebody takes their hand off him, he's not going to go. Is that something natural, or did you keep upping it? You know, were you exhausting?
I just try to find what the excitement is in the character as I read it and objectively see what he does. And when the time comes, I plug in for that energy and go with it. I am not normally that way. You know, I just sort of, in fact, my fiancée will see me studying for hours on the couch with the script, and I don't do nothing. I'm just muttering and thinking in my head. And then she sees the film, and I'm all over the place. And she says, "Where did that come from?" You know. So that's the way it works.
Do we have a question here?
Hello.
Hi.
You did a fantastic job as Rasputin and Anastasia a while back, and
It's one of my favourite films. It's fantastic. I was just wondering, do you enjoy the voice work you've done as opposed to the actual on-screen thing?
Yes. When I first had asked if I would do a voice thing for a character, whatever, I wasn't excited about it. You know, I felt, you know, I'm an actor. I'm three-dimensional. I have a whole body. So, but I was, okay, you know, so I went and did it, and then it happened a few more times, and I really got to like it, so that I kind of developed my way of doing that. It can be a lot of fun. And I like vocal stuff anyway, you know, so, because you have to put it all into the voice, yeah. And sometimes I tend to gesture a lot. I mean, the mic is like that. I'm going crazy beside it. None of that you see, but it helps me get what I want to get into the voice. And sometimes they will film that, and when they haven't already painted the character, they will film it. And if I do something they feel works, they'll incorporate it.
Rasputin was awesome.
Huh?
Rasputin was awesome.
Yes. Speaking of villains, oh my God, he's mythic.
All right, we have time for just two more questions. So there they are. Here's one here, and there's one over there.
One of my favourite scenes in Taxi is when you're with Elaine, I think it was Elaine at that upmarket do, and you start playing chopsticks, and then you break into concert piano. Yesterday you talked about how you grew up with classical music.
Yeah.
Was that really you playing?
No. I don't do my own stunts. No, I grew up, like you say, among a lot of pianists, my sisters, and real professional classical pianists. So I heard a lot of music, and I'd sit there and watch them play, because it's incredible stuff to listen to. And when I started doing film, I would see a film where somebody's playing the piano, and I just know he's not playing nothing. You know, it's just not in his body. And so when that scene came up, I really wanted to see what I'd learned from watching my sisters play. You know, what it does to your body. It was flat there, and on the other side was one of the writers who happened to be a classical pianist, and he was playing the piece. So.
No, because it looked very real.
Yeah, well, we worked on it. Yeah.
All right, we have a question over here.
In your early days of acting, who was your personal favourite actor that you looked up to?
Marlon Brando was a huge idol. Jack Nicholson, Hoffman, who passed away just a while ago. G. Hoffman or something like that. What? Yeah.
Philip Seymour.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I thought he was amazing. Ralph Fiennes. A lot of actors, and I feel badly about it. The first actor that really struck me was when I was 12 years old. My mother took me to see Hamlet, Laurence Olivier's Hamlet, where he produced, directed, and starred in the film. I went out and got the record 33, the third records or whatever, and learned all the speeches. I was blown away by it. But there's a lot of other. Charlie Chaplin. I love Charlie Chaplin. I just think he's so amazing when he's playing the harp and that look and his kind of, stoned out feeling. I don't like to put it that way, but better words. There was a magic about him that I really loved. go on.
Marvellous. Well, look, it's been wonderful, and everyone's had the chance to ask some questions. It's been so good to have you here, Christopher. I think on behalf of the whole room and most of Armageddon as well too, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here to talk to us all. So we show our appreciation, guys. Hasn't it been
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
Thank you very much.